We've got a load of US eco data coming out later, but I wonder, is it even going to move the needle for markets when potentially this court ruling's changed the economic picture for the US completely in the past few hours?
Yeah, a lot of that data is going to be seen as backward looking because as of now, it looks like the trajectory of the U.S. looks a lot better, especially versus when we came in this morning. And of course, what we're seeing now is the fact that potentially the tariffs are off the table. And if we do see that, then that is a big upside surprise for growth, especially in the United States, which is why we're seeing equities react so positively to the news. But also, there is an element of uncertainty that's likely to linger because, as my colleague Bill Ferries just pointed out, is that the legal battles are likely to play out. We're going to see this ongoing tiff between the Trump administration and the courts, and of course that uncertainty could potentially override the euphoria and the optimism that we're seeing today. And not to mention that we've seen the Trump administration in the past overlook some court rulings. So and if they do that yet again, that could precipitate the Sell America trade with the rule of law coming into question.
So perhaps the market a little overzealous about this ruling, given the possibility of a successful appeal. Meanwhile, of course, Mary, last night we had the Fed minutes, and really their message was that all of this heightened uncertainty justifies their wait-and-see approach. Does it change expectations of when cuts are coming?
I think what will be the really key factor that's going to come through is how inflation is unfolding and how the labor market. So at the end of the day, this is the two main things that the Fed looks at. These are their objectives and their mandates. And so, for example, on Friday, we'll have PCE. I think softening data on inflation is going to spark and get traders excited that maybe if the outlook improves on tariffs, then potentially the Fed might be willing to at least ease a little bit more. So the bets on terms of rate cuts are conservative, and so the bias for it could be skewed against pricing in more cuts. That being said, of course, as the tariffs play out, it really will come down to how the labor market is panning out, because we have seen changes in the federal government and cuts there. And does that really come through in next week's numbers, and how that unfolds? That's where the Fed is really going to start reacting.